Now here's the big shock, big surprise. Oh my God, it's Mortal Kombat 1.
I can't believe that there is a new Mortal Kombat game. I am
I
so surprised.
These motherfuckers the audacity to make a Mortal Kombat, reboot it, call it Mortal Kombat. Everyone violently resisted and called it MK9, regardless of what they wanted. And now they're going, F you, this is Mortal Kombat 1. So when we say MK1, too bad MK1 doesn't mean MK1 anymore. Like, it could have been, they could have been worse. They could have spelt it out ONE. But this habit of just going, the new thing replaces the old thing, shut up, it doesn't matter, F off. I hate it
I
so
am.
much. I hate the idea of just taking the name from the past and going, nah, this replaces it. That's how much more important this new thing.
Okay, so I'm gonna before I even
Title
talk,
that hard.
I want to say two things. One, I actually really dig naming it Mortal Kombat 1 with the number 1. I think that's hilarious. I think that's really funny.
I just
Okay.
I don't want.
Okay, well hold up. Wait for me to say the second thing I want to say. Okay, everything I'm going to say about Mortal Kombat after this, you have to remember that I am a massive hater and that I don't like Mortal Kombat. Okay? Similarly to me thinking that Mortal Kombat 1 is hilarious, I think the fact that they need to reboot it again is embarrassing.
Okay.
Embarrassing.
Uh
They are fully aware that they still can't reach the good shit they made in the 90s, and we're going for reboot 2. Embarrassing.
I think that I'll get there, but I think that MK1 being a part of the title is a way of forcing people to not be able to say MK9 like they did with 9, right?
Well, there is actually a
now,
secret genius to this.
And now, it means that what comes next has to be MK2.
So here's the actual secret genius. So this is MK12, and people are already calling it MK12 because it is also Mortal Kombat 1, 2.
Well, if they're doing that, then the marketing's going to have to catch up to these theories, then, won't it?
Yeah, it won't.
The marketing
It
is going
won't.
to have to. The press release that they just blasted into the air that got millions of people to tune in because that's how Mortal Kombat works and is actually popular, and like people will go, oh, I'm going to check out the new MK. That is going to have to change all its marketing when they add the little fucking cute whatever bullshit. Yes, Sandy, absolutely. No, man, they've announced it to everyone and have put tons of money into blasting the words Mortal Kombat 1 out
Yeah.
there. If there's any other puns to be done, it's too late. You know,
That being
they'll have
said,
to
like,
save it
okay,
for the DLC or a fucking update to the game or something.
it's time for me to continue hating on Mortal Kombat. The graphics and gore look really cool. It will help you forget that it's like the most stiff, awful playing piece of shit you'll ever see. Following with that, the fucking crux of the story being, hey, hope you bought the MK11 DLC so that you understand what is even happening. And also the game's major villain, Shang Tsung, is the day one DLC character. Sick. Awesome. Great. Fantastic. Following that, hey, let's leak the DLC roster. And wow, that DLC roster sucks ass. 2 different Superman knockoffs. Ooh, goody.
I didn't see the leaks of the list, so that's news to me. I have not seen any of that stuff. The what was I gonna say? Okay, so one, the trailer they showed is pretty. I can't believe how many people were like thought that they were looking at in game. Now it's not impossible that it's in game, but it doesn't say it and it doesn't frame it in that way. So until they say and confirm that we're looking at gameplay,
that's gameplay.
Did they confirm that it's gameplay?
No, I'm confirming to you that it's gameplay. Okay, Woolie. Well, hold on. Look into my eyes. Look at your camera, okay? I am the same person who looked at Anthem and said, "Oh yeah, that shit's fake as fuck. That's not real as hell." And you went, "I don't know, it looks pretty good." And I'm looking at this and like they're showing off these fatalities because that is what they will be looking at.
The fatality system and the fact that the whole gore thing happened, the whole gore conversation happened from that, might be that's what they're doing. And here's the thing, it would make sense to show off that system if they're going to use it to be like, hey, look, the fatalities are next level. At the same time, it could just be FMV and this is just getting everybody hyped, but it's not actually in engine. Like it doesn't say anywhere. Like that's the thing.
All right.
I certainly hope that it is because it looks really nice, but I don't fucking believe it until they confirm it. That's I'm sitting,
okay.
you know. And you know, like I like a bunch of I heard that like well I mean like Reggie was like, oh my god, it looks so good. I'm like, yeah, hold on, we don't know if that's what it's gonna look like yet. You know, the we're not out of the era of confusing everybody with a pretty cutscene, unfortunately.
Also, I'd like to get back to hating, and I will take
hold on.
Oh
wait.
no,
wait.
Hate.
All right,
I'll hate on it.
We know you hate you do it on Twitter. You get it all out there. It's on the Twitter. We know it's
not all out yet.
Okay. Yes. Suck shit forever. Yada yada. Move it. You know what I mean? Like yes. Okay. We yeah. And sorry about the mic crackling, guys. I can't fix it live without killing the fucking recording we have and fucking up the entire thing for later. So I'm gonna keep going, and I'll have to address it once we're done and wrapped up. So sorry about that. And the more excited I get, it seems like the more it's gonna. Yeah. The animation shit with NetherRealm like has plagued them for a long time. It sucks because like when I want to say like we saw like the peak of its awkwardness in Injustice. But while that continues to be a thing, the gameplay has gotten better and better. And MK11 was a super tight fighting game that was really fun.
It was very tight in that it felt like you were in a ugly corset that didn't let you move or feel good moving the character around. Tight like you're trapped in a tiny enclosed space, unable to throw out even the shittiest medium kick from the ground.
I thought that the going from whatchamacallit, going from 9 to 10, we saw like some stuff that was like overall like I like the introduction to the new characters, yada yada. 11, when they went in later on, by the time they made it so that the custom variation stuff was just kind of like they kind of like locked it in as a third. They made some balance changes and shit. There was a point where there was an update that overall really improved things, but that animation thing, I hope that we can get to that point where they get past the side stiff weird things, or that we get past the idea of the side switch button. I don't know, but like if this ends up being the funnest version to play, but it still has that, it's gonna be weird. The cameo system they're describing is I like the idea of them introducing, if it was gonna be 2v2, that could have been fun. It seemed like the trailer was hinting at 2v2, but I don't know that like the cameo thing they're describing is going to be that. It seems like they're kind of establishing that it's going to be you're calling in a striker, and someone might be a character that is only a striker, that you're not going to get to see them as a playable character in the game. And that might not be the fucking best way to go about that. If it was 2v2 plainly, just make the whole story about that, you know?
Yeah. So I agree. I think it will feel better than MK11. I totally agree. I think this game will play and feel a lot better than MK11. that is easy to do when the games have felt like dog shit since the mid-90s. I have played every Mortal Kombat game. They all feel like trash. I played so much Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, dude.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh Jesus. Oh, we're even going back there.
I'm going back there
to when fighting games were dead. Oh God.
so much.
Woof.
Okay, and I will take a sentiment that I saw some of my mutuals on Twitter putting out that I think nailed it so good. Hey, look, guys, for our fighting game trailer, are we going to show fighting game? No, we're going to show the gore things that you're never going to do in a match because it's annoying and takes too much time. Instead, we're going to show all the cool gore violence stuff that you're going to look up on YouTube after the game comes out as all fatalities compilation, because that's all that shit is. Ooh, look, it's an ad. He kicked his head off because it's an ad. It's a thing that doesn't affect anything. We'd show you matches, but the matches probably look like trash.
The fatality shit is what keeps this franchise probably, arguably, more popular than Street Fighter casually. The fact
Dude,
that
I play Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter looks like shit. It has no ad on it. It has no fancy thing you would ever look up on YouTube. There aren't even fucking supers in that game. Well aware of how it feeds into the popularity, but that doesn't mean that I look at that and go, oh cool, you're gonna fucking just douse my meal with cheese so that I don't realize that it's dog shit. Just put more cheese on it. Ooh, the cheese.
All right. I mean, when it comes to what feels like shit, I suppose, and what looks like shit when it's animated, and then what plays like shit in terms of characters and moves and so on, I feel like there's walls between those things, and the Deadly Alliance, Deception, Armageddon era were all of the above are garbage. And then I want to say MK9 and forward, animation still looked goofy as fuck, but they were figuring out how to make the games like more fun gameplay wise to play. And by around 10, and then again, like when 11 kind of got that midway point, I feel I was like, oh yeah, no, this feels fun. I was enjoying that. There was a period of time where I was going to locals and entering and playing and, you know, going online and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I was having a fairly good time with it that I felt was better than the previous games had ever been at that point, you know?
Oh, dude, yeah. When most of those games are actually trash, it's really easy to make a better one.
Now, I'm always that's the thing is, of course, like there's the part where it's like, yeah, there's a you know, NetherRealm games are have that NetherRealm thing to it, but I feel like having played those and then also get an Injustice as well. So you actually have like, I guess, 5 games to compare of the modern stuff. They're so much closer and tighter than it used to be back in the day when it was Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter, that I'm like my memories of the ancient, like, Mortal Kombat is more popular with the, like, again, the violence and the spectacle and so on, but gameplay wise it's a fucking joke. What's the point of a block button, yada yada. Now they've gotten a lot better, and it's just like, it's at a point where, like I said, I was having fun with it. I can't, if you're like, there's nothing else I can really say to that point, you know?
Okay, I have something to say to that point. Wooly, I am holding a gigantic screw with a washer on it that is supposed to put into my desk so I can put a mic arm on it. I actually didn't use it. I used the mic arm to combine it. I have been spinning. You can hear it. I have been spinning it. Yes? Okay. I have been having fun with my metal toy. You can have fun with many things. That doesn't mean that this is a well put together video game. Okay? Mortal Kombat. If, Wooly, you and I have played so many fucking fighting games. Back on the Best Friends channel, we played like fucking 50 a year, and most of them were trash. And if those games had been given the budget and the presentation and the hyper violence that Mortal Kombat has, most of those pieces of shit would be more fun to play than MK9 or MK10 or MK11 and probably MK12.
Yes. The difference between the world of MK versus DC and all of that is that those games are so laughably bad you would never even consider
Random fucking.
You would never even consider spending the time to be like, I'm gonna learn a character, I'm gonna go fuck around and kind of see what's happening, or go to a local, or jump online for a little bit. Like, there's a level, there's a tier that you hit where it's like, this is not even worth considering, this is exclusively for scrublords ass bullshit, right? Then there's the okay, this game has some stuff, but there's problems with it, and then it's probably not going to last for a while. I want to say the new Melty Blood kind of hit that you can learn a couple things, but ultimately the shield system creates some problems that are going to kind of make this get more boring as you get towards higher level play and start seeing higher level play and stuff. I feel as if basically they got pushed over that bar for my level of interest with the modern NetherRealm games. That I was like, okay, I'm willing to spend some time with it that I wasn't willing to spend before, based on those improvements and how these are, I guess, compared to what else is going on in the genre, But at the end of the day, man, I don't want to. If you fucking hate it, it's all yeah, that's fine. I don't know what else to say except
scrolling through
I'm
the
like, okay,
playlist at random. If Veteran Combat had the money that Mortal Kombat had, it would be just as good as Mortal Kombat. If fucking Battle Construction Vehicles had the fucking money that Mortal Kombat had, it would probably be better than Mortal Kombat, because at least it would be more interesting. If you went and fucking played Biofreaks. Biofreaks is more interesting than fucking Mortal Kombat. And it already has the violence, it just doesn't have the money. That new crab battle game. That game looks awesome. Oh, it doesn't have crab fatalities in it? Oh. It's the most jangling your fucking keys in front of a bunch of 10-year-olds, thus why it's popular shit in the world.
It shouldn't exist. You're right.
Am I this mad?
It should not exist.
Because Virtual Fighter is dead? Of course I am! But that doesn't change the fact that it plays like trash!
Liu Kang should have unmade the entire IP from existence, and there should be nothing. That would have been
so awesome.
That's the win. That's how you yeah.
I actually have to say, when they built up the fact Liu Kang is going to make a whole new universe.
Establish here that this is the weirdest shit ever, because I have I have never held up a shield to be like, I'm part of the MK army of defense.
No, of course not. I mean? I'm talking.
Never been this person. That being said, the stuff I've felt like I've had fun with them in recent games in recent years because of the fact that they've gotten a lot better. I don't know what else to tell you with that. A lot of games hit a threshold of there's some stuff going on here, but we'll see. And this is kind of that was enough time, as I also was interested in I don't know, Soul Calibur, right?
Yeah.
What's up with Soul Calibur? Did you have fun with Soul Calibur when the new one came out?
Yeah.
Okay. What eventually made you stop playing?
I believe it didn't have very good online play.
Okay. But did it cross the threshold of interest in at least fucking around and
Oh, absolutely, but it had really bad online, so I wasn't
okay. I was yeah. Mm-hmm.
Before I leave, I just want to say, when my most excited I've been about Mortal Kombat in 10 years is when I got to the end of the story mode and Liu Kang is like, I'm going to make a completely new universe. And then they load up the MK1 trailer and oh wow, Liu Kang thought it would be a cool idea to recreate Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Katana and Melina. And I'm like, I'm fucking done. That is the worst. That is the absolute worst reset ever.
We got to the end of the story, and I remember I was sitting there with Reggie going, this is telling you that the reboot is coming. This is telling you that they're going to do whatever the fuck from this point on. And there's no surprise to expect because they fucked with time and they already did all the revisiting of the past moments and they did all the fan service moments you could ever expect to go see. I guess the only thing they didn't do was like the go to the Great Kung Lao. So I think that's what like a lot of people were expecting, and it doesn't seem like they're doing that. But yeah, the double reboot within the 3-game period is pretty fucking insane. And the other thing too is while we go back and talk about how MK9 story mode was like the best of the fighting game stories at the time, it is goofy and fucking nuts in the same way that the one in 10 and 11 are too. The Soul NATO fucking story.
9 is way better than the other 2 story modes. Like way better.
But my point is that it's still crazy as fuck.
Oh
right?
Yeah, it's goofy as shit. Absolutely.
It's super goofy, and like it like that maintains across all of them to some degree. Like I think the fact that 9 was also the first time we saw them doing that kind of movie fighting game integration, it had a big impact on everybody. But after you're used to it, then you can go play the fucking Marvel Infinite story, and it's not that impressive anymore. But MK9 did it first, so that was a big deal. You get to the Sonya chapter, right?
But the events, all of them.
But the events occurring are still fucking goofy and insane. Right? In the same way that the goofy and insane shit in 10 and 11 are also laughable. Like
I think the part that stood out to me the most about 9's story by far, like the I'm like, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. One is like, wow, dude, you really need to send more than one phrase back in time. You need to have just said something more specific than he must win. Sure. That's not helpful in a tournament setting. And 2, Sindel soloing like the entire cast. What the fuck is that? That's weird. Didn't that fucking threw me for a loop. Don't care for it.
But like, and so I feel as if like that mixed bag of this is stupid shit, oh, there's some fun stuff in here, has kind of always been my feeling about Mortal Kombat, or the new stuff I'm saying, and the old stuff to some degree, but like minus the fucking Dark Ages. So when we look at like 11, and I'm like, oh man, this story's insane, Kotal fucking jobber, yada yada. You know, but then we're like, oh, but the Kombat kids are fun. Those are some cool characters. I like the new
Kombat
era.
Kids that showed up for one game and then got fucking.
Benched. and then we're like, yeah, and then of the newcomers, you got Kotal, Ferrator, the fucking Cowboy, and good
old Cowboy. Memorable Mortal Kombat character, Cowboy. What a great character. You can't. I just realized you said the Combat Kids, Ferrator, and Cowboy out of 6 characters. You couldn't remember the name of one.
Aaron Black and Devora, right? Like those characters I appreciate as newcomers.
Fuck off! You don't get to say that. You couldn't remember his name.
Can I finish the sentence? I appreciate them so much more than the fucking Armageddon cast of Meat, Borai Cho, Su Hao shit that we fucking came from.
Woolie, you are lying to yourself. Because the characters that you just said you don't appreciate, you remembered all of their fucking names.
From
you
the just fucking era of memes we just
pulled out Su Hao.
All right.
You couldn't remember Cowboy, but you remembered Su Hao?
So the new characters in MKX are in fact worse than the ones in Deadly Alliance and Deception and so on.
In your mind, I guess.
Yes,
they stuck
that's
with
exactly
you.
it. It's not because we've had a decade of talking about specifically Borai Cho and Su Hao that those and fucking everything related to the Kami Dogu from all the bullshit we've been over. Right.
I'm going to pull out a piece of wisdom from an unexpected place. There's one thing Matt was really right about all the time. It's way better for something to be trash than mediocre. I will remember Su Hao until the day I fucking die as one of the worst fucking fighting game characters ever. I couldn't remember Cowboy's fucking name. He's a cowboy. He's a cowboy. That's his power. I shoot a gun. Pew pew.
You've made your stand. You're in your place. You're on one. This is what it is. All right, MK garbage. Sure, man. There's nothing to say beyond like, okay, sure. I've always thought
Good. I'm glad.
I've always thought MK has been a series that like has been popular based on like spectacle more than on foundation, and it's been nice to see the new ones get more foundation. So I like that's basically what I'm watching over the course of 9, 10, and 11, where you're like, okay, the NetherRealm Studios of current year is not the fucking whatever Deception era, yada yada, and then everything before that from MK4 and it got so fucking unbelievably embarrassingly awful as far as games went. And when I look at the ones that are there now, I'm like, yeah, if that's part of the Evo main stage contenders, I'm like, I see that. That makes sense. You know,
Just I this is a little separate. I don't believe in putting it at a tournament where money can change hands, because I think they should just give it to Sonic Fox.
Obviously, well, okay. I mean,
they should obviously just give the money to Sonic.
Obviously, the Evo contender list has been a source of contention as well for years over what fairly gets in or out or whatever the fuck is selected. But just all that to say that it's like there's a level of like whatever threshold that's been crossed at a point versus like, okay, we can just completely ignore those. They're not even trying at all, you know? So
you know what I
we'll see
what I
what
feel
happens
like
with this, man. Sure.
I feel like when I talk about Mortal Kombat and I see people being excited about Mortal Kombat, I feel like I'm sitting in Salt Bay's restaurant watching him bring over a $450
gold steak,
tiny medallion steak, and then he dances around and puts the salt on it, and everyone goes, ooh, the spectacle, and then you eat the steak in 2 bites and you go, I'm not full.
It is obviously more hilarious that you die on this hill. Obviously. That being said,
no, there's no exaggerate. I have felt stronger and stronger about this on every Mortal Kombat release.
And with the way things were back in the day especially, I always felt that style over substance thing was frustrating as fuck, especially to people who would argue with me about MK being better than Street Fighter and so on, right? This is going back to elementary school bullshit fights where people didn't understand gameplay being a thing versus like how realistic the blood is and yada yada. But I feel like that part of it, the style over substance, like split, has gotten better is at the end of it. And I feel as if like I got to a point where I was enjoying it in the last 3 games way more than I ever have in that franchise when I never was willing to give a fuck before that. You know, it was always just, this is a popular but ultimately fucking garbage thing. The amount that it cleaned up was one where I'm like, yeah, as someone who fucking plays every fighting game that comes out and like, you know, will give some time to like one that grabs my interest in some way. There was enough grabbing my interest from 9, 10, and 11 that I was like, yeah, okay, no, you're in. You know, this is something I want to see where they go with it. And then story wise it's as bullshit as ever with the fucking whatever reset's gonna come. But again, at the end of the day, I'm curious to see what they're going to do gameplay-wise more than anything. And that's why I want to hear about this cameo 2v2 system or whatever that's going to be.
I totally agree with you that the games have gotten better, and I will now rephrase that in the most condescending way possible. In that Mortal Kombat 1 through 8, which I'm going to say is up to Armageddon, it feels like they were obsessed with making a fighting game that was really cool. And then when they started MK9 felt like the first time they actually sat down and said, what if we tried to make the game fun to play? And they have been on that journey since.
Yes. And I would even say maybe Boone was like, what if we got some of the people that play this to come and give advice on what they would like to enjoy while the fighting is happening.
Yeah.
And we'll take care of everything else outside of when the fighting is happening.
It's this really weird
situation. Absolutely agreed on that. I totally agree on that.
We are 12 games in, and we are 3 games worth of growth. This growth should have happened in like 95 to 2000. But we're in 2023 now, and we're like, Wooly, we're playing Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 has a long history of good games that they have improved on, and look how far they've come. And then I look at what we're going to deal with Mortal Kombat, and it's going to be stiff and focused on gore, and it's like, oh cool, I'm playing the game they should have made in 2002. Oh, my head hurts so bad.
I
I think my
mean,
blood pressure is spiking.
like, if we followed up the era of Capcom versus SNK 2 straight into the '09 era, dear God, what a fucking amazing reality we would be in. You know, that I totally agree with that. And I will say that, like, yeah, man, you can see the exact moment they decided to actually start caring about the gameplay more, for sure. I also, I think when I'm looking at it too, like, there's a part where I was also like, there's a Mortal Kombat scene that's local that I know I was going and participating in to some degree, and we have some really strong players. Hayate's from here, and he's a good friend that went really far in those games. And like watching those games competitively was like the majority of like how I followed 11. 10, the end of 10, I would say I started paying some attention to it a little bit, and then for some of 11 as well, and did some of those events on our channel and did some commentary for it and stuff. And like it just, like I said, it for me, it felt like it hit a point where watching it and watching high level play matches as well was pretty hype, you know, like seeing the meta of like what was going on at that level, I thought was pretty sick. It hit a point that was very, very far from the "you're not even trying" era, you know, before that, as we were describing. And I'm trying to think of like another genre game where it's like been substance over style over substance aggressively forever, and then like there was suddenly an attempt to like actually put it in, you know?
Fucking Mortal Kombat is the fucking fighting game equivalent of every shitty Chinese MMO you've ever seen.
Oh god, I
Wow,
don't know
look at the
anything about
character
him.
creator. Wow, look at the graphics. Oh, it's like the worst game ever. Oh no.
Like, I see someone saying like Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, but it's like I've been on that train where I've been talking about great Ninja Taisen, Great Ninja War. Is that what it translated to? The GameCube ones, whatever. The Tomy GameCube Naruto games being like the funner fighting games of the two. And
I agree with that. Also, those games are great.
The Naruto Met Hero was like way worse, but they had the prettier cutscenes, and
You know what?
it
It is actually fairly similar. Because I remember the Neural Ultimate Hero games were actually best summed up by, hey, let's look at the YouTube video of all the supers in the Neural Ultimate Hero games.
I got when we got the classroom and I got everybody to come in and we played fighting games back in college, and I popped in Neural Ultimate Hero 3 or whatever, and I was like, let's just check out the supers because that's all that's worth doing here. You don't want to actually play the fucking thing.
And then put in fucking Gexo Ninja Taisen.
Or that. Yeah, exactly. You know, Ninja Clash of Ninja. Yeah, okay. I only had the, whatever, I imported the GameCube ones when, you know. So that's exactly like a thing where you're like, okay, this is a better, funner version of these games, but this one just takes over and dominates because it's prettier to look at. And that has definitely been the case with Mortal Kombat throughout the years, back in the day especially. You know, I would be like arguing with people about like, I'm like, literally, look at me in the eye, look at my fucking eyes and tell me what the point of a block button is. What does it add? What do you get out of that? Like, what do you know?
I didn't talk about this. There's just the tiniest piece, and we've mentioned it before. I'm not even going to belabor it. When Injustice came out and allowed you to hold back to block, and then MKX came out after that, I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck they think they're doing. I don't know what fucking planet these people are on.
I remember
they've
exactly
lost their fucking minds.
I remember that it was. Injustice to me was they basically were like, MK has the block button as a legacy thing, and this is them like being released from that, and essentially is like trying to make a game that, and what if we made Mortal Kombat but we didn't have the um the block button like fucking anchor attached to us, but then also let's add the clash system, and let's also make zoning the most insane thing in the world, and 15 other things. But yeah, I think what ends up happening, competitively, what ends up happening is no cross ups and moves where you can use block in your inputs for, like, there's stuff that happens, like, where it affects your ability to stop in the middle of a situation or put in inputs without moving and so on. But none of that was designed into the block button. None of that was there intentionally. It was just an extra feature to stand out in the arcades from when the game was originally incepted. It became this thing that meant no cross-ups, but that's certainly not what the design was about.
Exists for the same reason Street Fighter 1 had pressure-sensitive buttons, because it made a cool thing the arcade cabinet
An arcade
had.
novelty. Yeah.
That the arcade and they just decided to keep it for fucking 30 years.
Stance switch is what if I switch to so that you can always see my character's good side. I don't want to look at the back of my character. Yeah, no, that is a fucking hilarious thing where people are fighting on this, dying on this hill, and it's like, just say that you like the fatality and call it a day. That's fine. And obviously now when you look at the competitive side, where it's just like, oh, the fatality, like, skip, go back to character select. We don't even. You get a KO, you see a KO, and you immediately character next game.
I'm still baffled that brutalities were not just the round ender, and they had all these weird fucking things you had to do in the match to do them.
It's such a great idea though, right? That I remember when I saw that, I was like, that's fucking brilliant. Is like, oh, a conditional ender that is like, yeah, this is a death state. You've touched your someone in KI in danger, and now you can go right into your ultra. Like, that's the type of shit where I'm like, fuck yeah, finally. In fact, most for the fatalities, if not all of them, should basically be like that, because X-rays are just fatalities.
It should just be the end of the match. Whatever move you do blows them apart.
Yeah, no, totally. But the fact that those are in there in that way, I was like, brilliant. That's a great way to do it. That's an example of a fantastic new implementation. That like is tied to gameplay in a way. And I always wanted brutalities to be like the way fatalities were implemented, because yeah, tied to gameplay is the most important part.
Like, the way that I look at Mortal Kombat is this, like, we have made fun of Dead or Alive being like masturbation fuel with the millions of costumes to look at the pretty girls bounce around. But the difference is
age 99
is that Dead or Alive is a way better fucking fighting game than Mortal Kombat is.
Five stepped it up quite decently. I have to say, when I played 5, I was like, oh shit, I'm having some fun here. At the end of the day, I can't say 1 through 3, 4, like, the DOA was pretty whack for some time, but 5 stepped it the fuck up. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, there's just the entire time you were talking, I was racing to try to find the analogy, but I'm like, I don't think there really is one. But one thing remains certain: Mortal Kombat is still probably the most popular casual fighting game series, and that's important as far as the genre goes, because you're gonna watch
100%.
the millions of views the trailer gets, which eclipse the Street Fighter reveal on day one. So, like, as long as that thing continues to have some like vested staying power in the casual world out there, I'm like, please, like, fucking show people how good a fighting game can be. Like, please.
Well, how could Mortal Kombat show people how good a fighting game could be?
Well, it would have to continue on the trajectory of caring about gameplay more and more, till eventually it's like a real fucking contender. And they're on a trajectory of, like, they've been implementing more and more shit around that part of it. They've been I guess, paying attention to the more competitive aspect. I've been paying attention to the the balance shit, because Injustice just kind of comes along and does these, like, the equipment that you address, that you stick on your character, where it's like,
Happens
okay,
when you boot up MK11 right now, Wooly. Today.
like, say again?
Do you know what happens if you boot up MK11 right now?
What?
You get a full page pre-order splash screen
For
MK12.
For one?
For MK1, yeah.
Wonderful. Like, the problem, I'm just thinking of, like, yeah, with like, as they would take a step forward, you'd get a step back with, like, basically gems again, you know, with, like, unique styles, stances, equipment, whatever, that you have to put on your character. And if all of that were just handled in the way that we're talking about with Street Fighter 6, where it's like, that's the bullshit that's completely for an online nonsense whatever mode, you know, that'd be one thing. But there was a point where it's like, no, this is the main mode you're going online with, therefore the competitive version people are playing in brackets is kind of like Smash Brothers, where we have to just use our own, like, local rule set, and it's like, god damn it, you know, that shouldn't be the case.
I'm gonna laugh super hard when they show that game off and it has a block button.
Oh, of course, it'll never not.
I'm gonna laugh so fucking hard.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, MK, like, the MK scene, which there is a very, like, very, you know, lively community out there that's fucking competitive in MK.
Yeah, and there's a Slipknot scene too.
There's no desire for the block button to go away at this point.
Yeah,
we're locked in. We're locked the fuck in.
Would interfere with them learning how to use a second brain cell.
Okay, I will have you know that I have watched. I
don't even care.
You will get dusted left and right by some of the best MK players that switking over to, like, anime and shit. Like, no.
You've gotten really good at that, using that brain cell.
The competitive MK player, I've seen quite a few of them make the jump. They're doing all right. Believe it or not.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, totally. That just felt good to say. I don't even give a shit.
I'm like, do you even believe it?
No, when I say that just felt fun to say, that's what I'm saying. I just wanted to hear it come out of my mouth.
Okay, because I'm like, you go fight a Cetrion player in tournament and show me what the fuck you have.
Yeah? I'll one-up you. Who the fuck is Cetrion? I don't know who the fuck that is. Is that bald bitch? For the time shit?